Howdy folks, I'm sitting here today with Dan Pickens, one of our local singer-songwriters you've seen here before several times. If you've been anywhere around the hill country picking, you've probably picked with him or at least heard him. Dan, how have you been?
Been good, Rick. How are you?
It's same old, same old.
Same old, same old. It's warming up.
Same old, doing great, yeah. Good. What have you been up to?
Well, you know, trying to write a few. Still got a few in the hopper that are not quite baked, but yeah, just working on performing and trying to play a little bit around town, getting people used to my songs.
Well, do you have a song to start us off with today?
I do. Today happens to be my 27th anniversary, and
congratulations.
Well, thank you. I want to send this first one out. This is I wrote a song about divorce that you've played, Matagorda Island, and after I played that, everybody was asking me, well, is everything all right with you and your wife?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that everybody knows it is quite all right between me and my lovely bride, and after 27 years, I want to sing the first one for her.
And it's Cynthia.
Cynthia, absolutely.
Cynthia, this goes out to you. All right, well, what's the name of the song?
The name of the song is In the Tender Hours.
In the Tender Hours.
All right, let's see if we can get through this. In the tender hours, when my failure's written for all to see, when I disappoint myself and I'm lost in shame, heart to heart she calls my name. In the tender hours, she comes to me. In the tender hours, she's fallen to her fears and she needs some strength. When the days have passed so quickly, spread before her eyes, end to end I hear her cries. In the tender hours, she comes to me. Days can be so hard, joy unfulfilled, it seems like it's just us against the tide. Having you to hold me as a lover and a friend pulls me through and helps me smile again. In the tender hours, when we reach for each other in the pale moonlight, brush away the day with our fingertips, rough the smooth, lips to lips. In the tender hours, she comes to me. Days can be so hard, joy unfulfilled, seem like it's just us against the tide. Having you to hold me as a lover and a friend pulls me through and helps me smile again. In the tender hours, she comes to me. Happy anniversary, baby.
Well, that song goes out to Cynthia Pickens. Happy anniversary. How many years?
27.
27.
Seems like only yesterday.
I still got a few on you. You're catching up, but anything after 25, it's a done deal.
It's a done deal. Absolutely.
So, Dan lives, we've talked about this before, I think, but Dan lives right out here in the area. He's one of our first guests on the show. And he was one of the best songwriters lyrically and performance-wise anywhere around these parts. Can you talk a little about your approach? What drives you? Tell us about your songwriting. Why you're a songwriter.
I've always been a wordsmith. Love the written language. Graduated with a degree in journalism. Have always been interested in storytelling. My son got started on songwriting early, and he really inspired me to actually strive for expressing myself, through my own songs rather than just playing covers. And so when I approach songwriting, it's been with the goal of trying to distill in the song the essence of an emotion or an attempt to try to capture a moment in time and really express how the protagonist is feeling at that time. And so that's what I shoot for. I don't always hit it, but I try for that.
Do you start with you start with an emotion that you're wanting to express? I can identify with that. I try to do that in some of my stuff. Do you start with the music or the lyrics more often?
I generally start with the lyrics. Like I said, I'm a wordsmith at heart.
So you're a poet.
I'm a poet, I guess.
And then you put music to your poetry.
And then I try to make the music interesting yet natural. Some of my songs are pretty straightforward. Chord progressions 1, 4, and 5, and I've tried to branch out and learn more music theory as I've gone.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's about the words for you, really.
It's about, I do find that the more I learn, the more I know. I don't know anything. So I try to really get, as I said, I try to keep it interesting. Throw in a transition chord that makes the song interesting without being too contrived.
Yeah, I've found and I've talked with other songwriters about this, that you start off with the emotion, you come up with the words, but it's really the tune, the chords that sells the song in many cases. It's without that, if you can't come up with that emotional feeling within the chords and the arrangement, the words aren't gonna work. So it's really a 50-50
Absolutely.
deal.
Melody and meter are kind of the makers and breakers. If you can make it catchy, interesting, the words, you look at some of the greatest songs in the world, and they're pretty simple.
Yeah.
But they between the meter and the melody, they communicate either an uplifting moment, an energy, or they bring a poignant moment forward and let you really think about it.
Right.
Those are all the various kind of facets you work with in songwriting.
Right. Well, Dan, will you favor us with another piece?
I will. I'll try to favor you. We'll see if I do.
What's this one?
This one is called Phantom Pains.
Phantom Pains.
Phantom Pains, and
I know about that.
This is a song that was inspired by metaphor. Let's just put it that way. Driving out in West Texas, I saw a dust cloud rising over a dirt road after a car had passed, and I got to thinking about how sometimes relationships linger above us and around us for many, many years, and so that's what this song is about.
Phantom Pains, Dan Pickens.
All right, little waltz tune. Like fine dust hangs over a dirt road long after the last truck has gone. In her passing, she hovered above him. In the wind, her voice was a song. Like cinnamon, coffee, and chocolate, he carried her scent all his life. Young woman's fragrance could stop him. For a heartbeat, he thought her his wife. They'd grown up childhood sweethearts, gotten married right out of high school. She wanted more, had to see the far shore. Well, it's a big world, she never returned. Like an amputee feels for a lost limb, he had phantom pains deep in his heart. Year after year he felt she was near, though she left him to make a new start. Like a blade cross a vein lets the blood flow, their crossing had drained him alive. Bitter word, sharp pain, no feeling, 30 sad years of heartbroken strife. They'd grown up childhood sweethearts, gotten married right out of high school. She wanted more, had to see the far shore. Well, it's a big world, she never returned. Like a vision, her face floats before him and beckons him, come to the door. It's dark, but he sees her quite clearly, takes her hand and they're together once more. It's dark, but he sees her quite clearly, takes her hand and they're together once more.
Too. Well, will you take us out with one more song?
I sure will. This is a slightly autobiographical song. It's really about my uncle, who's the last of the great cowboys.
Thought that was my grandpa.
Yeah, well, we've all got one, but this fella is, I remember working cattle with him the first time, and it was just a really interesting experience for a 12-year-old to get in a pen with a bunch of cows and watch the mayhem happen. So this is about that first time working cattle with my uncle.
What's it called?
It's called what is it called?
You could sing it.
It's called
I do that all the time.
Science and Skill.
Science and Skill.
Science and Skill.
Dan Pickens.
We were working cattle at the Tanner Place pens, 4 at a time in the chute. When the big bull of Brahma got fed up with the drama, turned into a red-eyed angry brute. He snorted and he slobbered, he turned around and clobbered Broom Boy as he gripped him by the horn. Bellowed and he bawled, in fact he damn near crawled out the chute, but Bruni held on through the storm. Bruni forced him down till he was back on the ground. Then he dabbed the loop around his horns, snubbed him to a post and tied him off real close. Stood back and watched that big bull squirm. Science and skill will always prevail over ignorance and superstition. Use the tools that you have, Bruni said with a laugh. This bad bull now is just another cow's calf. Eating steak and taters some 40 years later. That's Broom Boy now, that old man in the hat. If you think he's lost an age, those fingers thick as sausages. Try him and we'll see what comes of that. He lives up on the hill, and a cowman he is still. Been a while since he's been on a horse. He keeps his fences mended, and when his days are ended, say he lived his way without remorse. Science and skill will always prevail over ignorance and superstition. Use the tools that you have, Bruni said with a laugh. This bad bull now is just another cow's calf. This bad bull now is just another cow's calf.